Hi, my name is Anna Marie Breen, and the name of my research study is The Effects of Daily Brain Breaks on Academic Performance. This project has not been implemented, therefore all outcomes are projected. The identified problem. First grade students at Francis Dungestor Elementary School are performing below the proficiency benchmark. The problems include low academic achievement in both core subjects of reading and math and disengagement. Brain breaks are learning activities that allow a child to utilize other parts of their brains through movement during a scheduled break time that occurs during these core academic instruction. Thesis statement. This study predicts that incorporating daily brain breaks during core academic instruction will enhance the ability to focus and retain valuable information learned in reading and math. Original data. The data was collected from the Renaissance STAR Early Literacy and Mathematics Assessment. The individuals who score below the proficiency line compose 63% of the overall data, and 37% are considered at or above the benchmark. The proficiency benchmark indicates the skills, standards, and knowledge that these students must master at this given time to be considered academically proficient. The STAR Early Literacy scores, approximately 84%, are below the proficiency benchmark and 16% are at or above the norm. All of the students in the blue, yellow, and red bars are performing below the academic proficiency benchmark. This means that majority of my students are not academically proficient in both math and reading. Background investigation. The first bullet is what really drove my decision to choose this topic as my research study. A first grade student has an attention span that ranges from 6 to 20 minutes. We are required to teach math and reading for 90 minutes each. This means after 20 minutes, our students are no longer able to pay attention because of what is deemed as developmentally appropriate. According to a study investigating attention during elementary students' instructional activities, researchers found that on-task behavior tended to decrease as the instructional duration increased. That means our students are not paying attention after these 20 minutes, and they're no longer able to sustain their behavior or their attention span. According to Terada, unstructured playtime allows for imaginary and creative play to practice divergent thinking. While it is important for our students to maintain their ability to focus, it is also important for them to practice imaginary and creative play. These brain breaks do support engagement levels while also supporting the imaginative play, which is also an important component for healthy brain development. Research-based outcomes. Blatch identified that toddlers could better recall the name of objects when they were given breaks during each presentation of an item. A recent study discovered a connection between Go Noodle brain breaks and reading fluency. I really thought that this research was very interesting, considering we also administered the DIBELS standardized assessment. Student academic abilities were measured using this DIBELS assessment. The findings identified that students who were participating in these daily brain breaks could increase their reading fluency skills on this assessment. Findings by Donnelly also found that students who participated in a physical activity program showed significant reading, math, and spelling improvements. According to a 2019 study, the research identified a positive correlation between bodily movements and increased ability to retain new information. When a child is allowed to learn content through multiple intelligences, the information retrieval will become more fluent, resulting in problem-solving skills and cognitive processing, according to Stevens-Smith. Action plan, sampling method, and sampling description. The sample will be composed of 60 first grade students at Francis Dungestor Elementary School. A sample of 20 students from each experiment and control group will be selected through a simple random sampling technique. All research will be done through a quantitative method. Collaborative efforts. Each classroom teacher will collaborate with each other along with administration to ensure that all standards are being met under the Alabama course of study. Educational team will facilitate timed brain breaks through Go Noodle videos. Go Noodle is a website that is free for teachers to utilize that has these videos to promote bodily movements for the students. Each teacher will also be given a timer to time these brain breaks during core academic instruction. Instrumentation. The instrumentation will be the Renaissance STAR Early Literacy and Mathematics Standardized Assessment. This assessment is considered to be computer adaptive, which means that the student, depending on how many questions they answer correctly or incorrectly, the test will determine their abilities by giving them questions that are tailored to their needs. The Renaissance STAR assessments are nationally recognized assessments that are used all across the United States with elementary age students. Procedures. The sample will consist of 60 first grade students. Group 1 will be the first experimental group, and these students will participate in 2 5-minute brain breaks. Group 2 will be the second experimental group who will participate in only 1 5-minute brain break. Group 3 will not participate in a brain break during academic instruction. The brain breaks will consist of Go Noodle videos that will be facilitated by the classroom teacher. The initial test will be given during the first 9-week school period, and the final examination will be at the second 9 weeks. I chose to do the final exam at this end of the second 9 weeks because students learn a large amount of information during the second 9 weeks of school. Internal and external validity. The STAR will be administered to all elementary age student and first grade students. The reports are compared to local, state, and national levels. Only state certified teachers will be allowed to administer this exam and will follow a scripted assessment page and will not test their own students. Weekly lesson plans will also be required by each classroom teacher. Any missed instruction will be made up by the classroom teacher. Confidentiality. The research in this study involves academic activities that are considered to be the norm for most public school systems, considering they are administering the standardized assessment. However, since the study will be collecting and studying data from children, I will be asking for parents to provide a signed consent form before their child is allowed to participate in the study. In order to protect the privacy of everyone, the participants will be randomly assigned to a group. Therefore, the results will be examined by each group rather than individual student. All the data collected from participants will be confidential. Appropriate accommodations and modifications will be made according to IEP and 504 plan guidelines. English language learners will also receive any necessary accommodations according to their learning needs. So that means if a child needs an accommodation of an extra time on the test, that will be allowed to occur under their IEP and 504 plan. Expected results. I do expect to see that the daily implementation of brain breaks has an improved effect on academic proficiency in the core curriculum subjects of both reading and math. I also hope to see a greater increase in student engagement levels. And I do believe that this will inform future instructional techniques to utilize in the classroom. Expected changes in research. I would like to expand this research study to also involve the DIBEL standardized assessment as well. I think it would be interesting to see the results from this assessment. I would administer the initial assessment during the beginning and end of the school year to determine if brain breaks can be an effective tool for academic proficiency in reading, fluency, and nonsense word reading. In addition, I would like to expand this research study to other grade levels. I believe that kindergarten students would provide additional data to prove that students who have a limited attention span do need brain breaks throughout the day to support academic proficiency. Administering further research over multiple grades and beyond one school year may result in more extensive data to prove the effects of daily brain breaks and academic proficiency. This research has the potential to alter instructional techniques at Francis Nagester Elementary. Here are the resources that I used, and here is a second page of resources.